Hello, hello, and welcome back to the DramaLlama channel. As most of you know, I am Topher, and for those of you who don't know and just randomly decided to click on this video, I'm Topher, and this is DramaLllama, and today we are being joined by an extra special guest. As it is February and Black History Month here in the States, we are doing whatever we can to highlight the achievements of various Black people in the BL just universe. But while there are many Black BL actors who have permeated the BL universe throughout the years, today we have one of the first that I can think of that is actually from the States. Someone from our homeland has made it across the seas to 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 star in an upcoming BL series Sashes Hearts. So please welcome to the channel the one, the only Charlie St. Cyr.
Hello,
Hello.
hello. Thank you. Thank you so much for that warm welcome. I'm excited to be here. And yes, I can't wait to spill some of the tea of this new series.
We are so excited to talk to you, and yes, we're so excited to just get the tea because, like I said earlier when we were just chatting, like I've been in contact with Oxin for years.
Mm.
I've interviewed director Sean a number of times. He's he was kind enough to put me in one of his series a couple years back. It's just like a little cameo spot,
Wow,
virtually, and
nice.
like
That's awesome.
we love Oxen. But yeah, first, before we get into all of those things, tell us about yourself for people who don't know who is Charlie.
Okay. Yeah, so Charlie St. Cyr. I am from New Orleans, Louisiana. I'm 31 years old, and yeah, I'm an actor, fitness model, personal trainer, um, and yeah, I'm just enjoying what I do right now. So,
So, how did you get into the world of acting? How did acting get its claws into you?
so I think, to be honest, I probably have always like had a passion for. Uh, as a kid, you're pretending and playing cops and
Mm-hmm.
robbers and all that. So I think I've always had that kind of passion of just pretending to be something, right? And I think if I can remember, my first experience was 16 years old. I joined a fine arts program, and that kind of opened the door of acting in theater. So I
Mm-hmm.
started in theater first, on stage plays, and I thought maybe that was just going to just be my childhood type of hobby. I didn't think it was going to go past that in my adulthood. I just usually would do the acting when I wasn't doing sports, because I played
Mm-hmm.
sports as well during when I was younger. So yeah, so that opened the door, and once I was in college, my second year in college, I ended up managing my younger brother, Jeff Teens. He's a dancer and does a little bit of acting as well. But I started managing him, and that kind of opened more of my curiosity of
Mm-hmm.
what can I do in the film part of the entertainment industry. And I went and accepted a BG, a background role for a movie in Dallas called Daylight's End. I was a zombie creature. So that was like something that I was like, okay, this is actually pretty fun. Maybe I'll keep like testing it out. And I did. And I would say over time, I wasn't consistent with it. Like I would do some project and I'd be working, school, I was still balancing, trying to balance all of that. So I would say I had like a slower start in building my career, but
Mm-hmm.
throughout the years, I always would do like a project here and there, if that would be commercial or TV show or movies. Mostly BG background work at first, and then yeah, I moved to California during my time in the military. And when I was in the military, I also did a little bit of acting, but again, that work balance life is kind of a bit hard. So um, But during that time, I was able to get signed with an acting agency, fitness modeling agency up in LA. And from there, that's where the bigger roles start to come into place, where I would have more face time and more future, experience of being like more closer to uh, the main cast. But um, it wasn't until the end of my years in the Navy, I think it was my last year in the Navy, that I got my first speaking role that was a part of a Filipino American movie called The Wedding Hustler. Director
Mm-hmm.
Chris Serrano and Hillary, they are amazing. And they're the ones that kind of brought me a little bit more into the Filipino entertainment industry. So yeah, so that's kind of like this background story.
Nice. So we're one question and I'm already going off script.
Yeah.
Because you mentioned you got your start, 16 in theater. That's
Right.
how I got my start. That's how I, fell into the whole YouTube industry and just performing and all that kind of stuff too.
Mm.
Do you have a preference between stage acting and
Oh.
film acting?
To be honest, I think I enjoy the film acting a little bit more. Stage acting, you have to be like on the spot. You have to be
True.
perfect. There's no room for real mistakes, because once you're on stage, it's go time. Um, so it's a little bit more, I would say, nerve-wracking, and you have more, butterflies when you do the stage performances, because okay, if you don't get it right, they're gonna critique you and everything else. You're gonna get the bad side of it. But as far as the film side of it, I enjoy that more because I'm also being able to uh, be directed in a way where I can portray this character that is, from the eyes of the director and the producers, something very unique. And if whatever I'm trying to portray right then isn't what they want, I can switch it up. And that kind of brought a more self-reflection on myself, being able to see, okay, I can play this and then I can switch like blink of an eye to something else just to fit what you need. So yeah.
Very cool. All right, so you already touched on a little bit how you got your introduction to the Filipino market. Are there any other Filipino projects that you've done outside of Sashes and Hearts, which we'll talk about in a minute, and the film that you spoke about a couple minutes ago?
Yes. So the Wedding Custard was the very first introduction of Filipino industry, but I also I started a artist development program, and I was managing in British Filipino artists. So that kind of brought me into more of the music side of the entertainment industry on Filipino industry. And then that also brought me into creating more Filipino content, reacting and dancing to SB19, even getting, TikTok Philippines noticing some of my content. So that, I would say, what kind of started it all. And then coming here to the Philippines, I've done a few projects with Oxin before taking this bigger major role.
Very nice. So y'all, I may have found my new best friend. He mentioned music. He mentioned SB19. He was in the Philippines. Like all the pieces just fall into place. Like I'm having a good old time. In doing projects over in the Philippines, did they require you to learn to speak the native language, or
So
have you only had to speak English for these roles?
so as of right now, I've only had to speak English. Uh, I've been playing more of the foreigner kind of
Mm-hmm.
characters, so they prefer the English. But I have went to some auditions here and they're like, "Hey, can you speak Tagalog?" More likely it's probably because it's a better chance for you to get picked. Definitely in the commercial world, they want you to know Tagalog. So before coming here, yes, I already started learning the language. I wanted to learn the language for a few reasons, but one of the reasons I would say is I I fell in love with the language itself. Comparing it, like, people want to learn Japanese, they want to learn, Korean. I wanted to learn Tagalog because a lot of my friends Filipino. I'm always around the communities in the entertainment industry. So why not, learn the language I'm always around? And that kind of what started my interest in learning the language. And then coming here, it's just kind of, it helps because when you're on set and everyone's speaking in Tagalog, definitely when they're trying to give directions, if you don't understand, for me, I feel bad having to tell, ask, hey, can you say that in English? I'm in your country, I'm on your set, and I want you to change your language. I didn't want to be a burden. So that was another reason of why I am pursuing, getting better and becoming more fluent in the language so that they can just speak normal, don't get a nosebleed, because I hear that all the time. I'm getting a nosebleed. So yeah, so that's why.
Did you have any difficulties learning the language?
Oh,
As someone who is also trying to learn Tagalog.
Yes, the language, I would say, when you're trying to put sentences together, making sure it's in the right context when you say certain things, because the words kind of change when you say the context in a different way. You're just like, okay, did I say this right? So sometimes, even though I would say I'm probably 50% fluent at understanding and kind of almost speaking, I'm probably at 25% confident to speak it because I'm always in my head like, am I about to say this wrong? I'd rather just not say it so that you won't. I won't get made fun of. Don't get laughed at. Although they're, Filipinos are very, very humble. They're very polite and they're generous. So even if I did say something wrong, they were, they're welcoming to correct me and help me out to pronounce the words better. So yeah.
That is a true sentiment that I've just noticed in my years of being a YouTube presence, because I think my very first BL series I ever reacted to on my personal channel was a Filipino series, and it all stemmed out of me reacting to Filipino artists and Filipino music, and just that audience has always been so warm, so welcoming, so they just love seeing representation of their people on the screen in any capacity. So anytime that a Filipino artist was featured on my channel, they would just come out of the woodwork and just be so warm and so welcoming, and just interactions I've had outside of that, just on social media and whatnot with some of my Filipino fan base, they are just so incredibly kind, so sweet. So yeah, I understand the hesitation to want to look not quite proficient in speaking the language, but I know that the people there 9 times out of 10 won't judge us for
exactly.
But yes, you talking about just learning how to put the sentences together, that has been the pain of my existence for the last couple months, because I've been learning off and on for a year and a half, but time management and all this stuff, just sometimes I'm locked in, I'm yes, I'm gonna do it, boom 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 boom, I'm consistent for weeks at a time, and then other times I'm I can't do it today, I've got things, and I just put it off for another 2 weeks. But when I get to, learning words, great. Learning phrases, great. But then my brain is, I guess just after years of being a native English speaker, my brain is trained to, all right, this I'm assembling the sentence, here's my subject, here's my verb, here's my blah blah blah, blah blah blah. And then it's totally I couldn't figure out for the longest time what the formula was, because like I'm reading the translation of the phrases and I'm like, okay, that word means that, that word means that, but the order in which I'm saying it in English is completely jumbled.
Completely,
So
yes, yeah.
okay, there is a pattern. There's a pattern. What is the pattern? How do I do? Yes, it's fun. It's fun.
Yeah, no, it is very interesting, and I I feel like I'm doing the same thing when the Filipinos are saying, oh, they're getting a nosebleed when they're trying to speak full English with me. I'm just like, yeah, that's how I feel when I'm trying to speak full Tagalog to you.
And before we move on, you know I love my BLs, but let's be real. Sometimes those subtitles are not it. Mistranslations, missing lines, or just plain awkward wording can totally mess up the vibe. That's why Ling is a game changer. This language learning app makes it super fun and easy to learn over 40 languages, including Thai, Korean, and Japanese, so you can enjoy your favorite BLs without stressing over sketchy subs. And here's the cool part, Ling goes where other apps don't. They've developed a robust system for learning non-Latin languages like Thai, Korean, and many Eastern European and Asian languages that are often hard to find on other apps. And it's not just about memorizing phrases. You'll even learn how to write these languages, making the experience more authentic and fun. With over 200 lessons, mini games, pronunciation practice with a smart chatbot, and real-life dialogues from native speakers, Ling keeps it interactive and real. And you're in control. Learn at your own pace. Skip ahead or focus on what you want. Whether you're perfecting that emotional confession scene vocabulary or mastering the basics for your next BL trip to Thailand, Ling's got you covered. Ready to level up your BL game? Use the link in the description to get an exclusive 40% discount. Trust me, your BL experience will never be the same. Now, back to the video. Have you had any difficulties of being a foreigner, or being black, or being tatted and muscular in the Asian industry? You guys can't see right now from his camera angle. I have to remember to put photos on the screen.
Yeah.
This man is built and tatted. So has that caused any difficulties for you as far as acting in the Asian entertainment industry?
To be honest, not yet. Or at least I haven't been aware of it. Because maybe I've submitted for some projects and they didn't choose me because of it. But I've usually, when I'm going for auditions, it's just like applying for jobs, right? You apply for a whole bunch of jobs and you just wait for someone to call you back, pretty much. Mm-hmm. And 99% of the time, most of them don't call you back. So for me, it's just like, okay, I'm going to submit, and whoever wants me, I'll go for it. So I haven't really went in a place of oh, I'm in audition. It's like, oh, we like you, but because of this, you're too big, or because of this, you have too many tats. I haven't really run into that yet. But one of the things as an actor, I know how to cover up tattoos. I've already did a whole photo shoot where all my tattoos are gone. So if I really want, okay, look, I want this gig, look, I can cover up my tattoos, no problem. I even, for example, the build, I compete. I'm a pro bodybuilder. So I compete. I'm bigger, I was bigger before this series. I slimmed down, I cut weight to fit the role. So if I have to, I would do it just to make it work.
We love a versatile actor. Off the top of your head, do you know how many tattoos you have?
Maybe 8.
Okay,
I think
that's not that
8.
many. That's not that many.
But they're big tattoos, full.
They are sizable.
Connecting sleeve parts. Yeah. So I just count them all as one whole for each.
See, for me, I didn't believe people when they said that tattoos were addictive. So it's like when I first got them, like, okay, here's one. Then a couple years later, here's one. And then for whatever reason, last year, a switch got flipped, and then we got 14 added last year.
Wow.
So like
Okay.
now we're sitting at 21, and this I haven't gotten any this year, but you know, the year's still young. They're still tied. I
There's still time.
Yeah. No, I actually tied my tattoos to my fitness goals for this year. So I said every 15 pounds I lose, I'll let myself get another tattoo.
Wow. Okay.
And that's where I'm. It's making my wallet much happier. And
Yeah.
my wallet and my waistline much happier. Because
Yeah,
otherwise
because
I'd be
tattoos
crazy.
they're expensive.
Yes,
definitely,
they can be
definitely
very
back there in the
expensive.
States, expensive.
Are they cheaper over in the Philippines? Is this another reason I need to go to the Philippines?
Definitely cheaper here. A lot of things is cheaper here. Just saying, but tattoos, yes, cheaper.
Like I needed another reason I needed to be in the Philippines. All right.
Let's go.
Let's go. On the flip side, have you had any perks of being a foreigner or black or tattered and muscular in being in the Asian entertainment industry while you've been over there?
Perks. Not anything I can think of on top of my head. Maybe like the fact that I am a foreigner. Whenever there is roles that need a foreigner, that's I would say is the perk. Like for example, this series, particularly this series, they wanted a foreigner from not just a lot of times when you see Filipino movies or their TV shows, usually they have like if it's gonna be a foreigner, they're probably Caucasian or they're different Asian. So there's only a few times throughout their history that they've having black people from Nigeria or elsewhere into their films. So it's I would say that will be the plus side is when they do need a black foreigner, I'm here. I'm ready to work.
What are some of the cultural differences you've had to navigate while working in the Philippines versus working in the US?
Oh, the biggest one was the hours of work. So the US in the entertainment industry over there, we have laws, entertainment laws that kind of stop, I wouldn't say abuse. I don't want to use that word, but it stopped a lot of productions from going over a certain amount of hours per day. So actors kind of have a little bit more time to rest and prepare for the next shoot day. What I've learned here is like US, if you go over 12 hours, you already know they got to pay like double time, your daily rate, something like that. Versus here, same rate, no matter if it's 6 hours, 12 hours, 24 hours. And I have been close to 24 hours. I would say like 16 hours, 17 hours working on set here versus US. Usually the cutoff is 12, maybe 14 if they go over 2 hours. But for the most part, those productions in the US are like, nope, we're not paying extra. So they hurry up and wrap it up. Yep. So that won't be, and then I would say the other difference would probably be, and here I haven't run into where the actors, let's say, like if you aren't a lead role and you have lead roles that are very well known, right, on set, usually they have, in the US at least, they separate them. They kind of give them more of like, their trailers. They're trying to put them, away from everyone else. And here, I've hung out with all of the main actors that I've been a part of. We've done things like going get drinks together. We've, out off set and going out to eat together. So here, I feel like there's more of a camaraderie. They enjoy like keeping everyone together, no matter what role you play. So yeah, that'll be something different.
Awesome. Yeah, just kind of going back to that whole just warm, welcoming, almost familial type of Filipino nature.
Right.
Yeah, that's wonderful to hear. All right, so now we're gonna dive into the actual series, Sashes and Hearts. So from what I remember of my conversations with Direction and
Mhm.
also just seeing the trailer, it's a series that is set in the male beauty pageant world. What can you tell us about that audition process?
So the audition process, I actually was in London, or on a flight from London to the Philippines, which was going to be my first time being in the Philippines at the time last year. And I saw on Oxin Films they had a in-person audition the day that I was supposed to be flying. So I was like, oh, I really want to like give this a shot, but I won't be there. So I just kind of like was like, shoot my shot. I sent a DM, hey,
Yeah.
I really want to, try out for this, but I won't be there in time. Is there any other way? Here's my, reels. I sent my photos, my set cards, and yeah, I think like either 2 days or 3 days later, he reached back out to me and was like, "Hey, can you come in and meet with us at this restaurant?" And yeah, so I went, got to meet some of the other cast that was going to be a part of this series that we're shooting now. We had this conversation, and the series was talked about last year, back
Mhm.
in February, March timeframe. So I already kind of knew I was going to be a part of this series since then, although we didn't shoot it yet. And yeah, I mean, the whole process, I it went smooth. I felt like the screening part of when I sent my information and my work already kind of did the job. So when I met in person, was just more of a, hey, let's meet face to face so I can at least get to it more. Um, and from there, they told me like what my role will be and what they're kind of like hoping for uh, my character to play out. And then yeah, I just kind of was like, okay, this sounds good. I can do that. Let's go.
And what can you tell us about your character without giving too much away, of course?
Yeah. So I'm playing Daniel Smith, and he is going to be the USA winner, and he's coming to the Philippines to join the international competition here in the Philippines. Um,
Mhm.
Daniel is very, how would you put this? Um, in a sense, you have your conservative people and you have your liberal people, right?
Mhm.
People here in the Philippines are going to be more conserved. They're going to be what they're thinking, their mentality of like things isn't going to match up with a lot of what American, people think and do. So American people, they can kind of like go all out and not be ashamed doing whatever they want to do, versus here they're very like, oh no, I can't do that. I no that no that doesn't look good for me. So they avoid it as much as possible. But my character, he's pretty much like, hey, I'm gonna do whatever it takes to get ahead in the game, and even if that means sabotaging some of the other contestants, um,
No.
doing some special favors for the manager of the pageant.
Um,
Uh, yeah, it gets a little bit spicy between my character and a few other characters in the series, but my character is pretty much in a sense a villain. I'm uh, bullying the main lead. I'm bullying him. I'm doing things for the manager. So yeah, so that's Daniel Smith for you. He's gonna be a little wild.
okay, you guys heard it here first. Sashes Hearts features a Daniel Smith orgy. At least that's what I heard. Just how my brain chose to translate everything that was just said. So stay tuned for
Bro.
that, guys.
Yeah, stay tuned for that.
D- how did you feel about playing this sort of villainous character? Is that something that you've done before? Is it something you enjoy?
Um, so the role for me, I've already done like a similar role back in the US for it was for a senior thesis where I played a very sexual guy in this scene. So I was already kind of comfortable there that when they told me the things I need to do in these scenes, I was like, oh, that's a piece of cake. That's easy. I can do that. I can handle that. But I would say that, yeah, the process of becoming that character was pretty almost similar to, I would say, how I would portray what people kind of already see in, Black Americans or Black people. Like, for example, to not give it too much away, the fantasy of being with a Black person in the Asian community that you will see in this series. Yeah.
Adds it to my calendar. Well, speaking of creating the character, what was the rehearsal process like? How did you prepare for this role?
So we had a few workshops beforehand. So director Sean, we had, I think, almost like 3 or 4 workshops before we did this series, so that our characters can, one, get comfortable with each other, and the things we had to portray on camera, and as well as being able to fine and tune the character itself, right? Like being able to get the directions from director beforehand, and then taking that when you're home or wherever you're at and you're learning the script, you remember those notes so that you can really take on the character by time it's time to start filming. And that's pretty much what I did. When I'm at the gym, I'm like running on a treadmill and I'm reading my lines. I'm working out and I'm just going over the lines in my head. Yeah. So um, I think the process was pretty easy for me since I've already been kind of doing this for a while, but interesting, I would say. Very interesting.
Well, after starring in such a groundbreaking role again, there may have been other Black American actors and actresses who have crossed over into the BL industry. I can't think of any off the top of my head, so if any of my audience is watching and you have any other names, please let me know. But as being one of the first, I will say that, I will put that qualification out there. As being one of the first, what other kind of roles or projects do you want to explore next?
So to be honest, like you said, I also kind of did some research too, because I was just like, man, has anyone else done what I'm about to do before? I was like, okay, maybe I can kind of get some like guidance or like see like how they did it. But when I did my research as well, not really much came out that said first Black American who born and raised in America, then joining, the BL series here in Asia. So maybe I am, who knows? But hopefully this opens more doors, not maybe for me or for other Black Americans or Black people to even get lead roles where they're the star of the BL series. Hopefully that is something that starts opening doors and people like, start getting some creative ideas like, oh, okay, I can see this now. I can see, maybe I'll have a side character show from Sashes Hearts where I'm like starting to date one of the cast, something like that.
Come on, spinoff. Yeah.
some kind of spinoff, right? But yeah, because like you said, I haven't seen any even like for the lead roles, no Black person in a lead BL. So who knows? Maybe that will be, the future. But besides that, for me, I'm hoping that this opened more doors for me just here in the Philippines to create more opportunities as an actor. And that's like the reason why I'm here, to be an international actor.
Mhm.
So yeah.
As someone who is constantly mentally putting himself as a star of any BL series, I would love that to be the case. I would love that to actually be the reality. So yes, Charlie, forge ahead, continue to do the Lord's work, so that one day Topher can be on screen
Yes.
kissing the boys, but like for money this time.
Right,
Not
right.
just not just for free. But anyway, um, ha- have you done any acting work outside? So you're trying to be international outside of the Philippines and the U.S. Have you ventured into other markets as well?
So actually, not outside. Like I haven't gone to any other countries to shoot, but other countries have come to the Philippines, and I've been a part of those projects. So I did just recently did a project that was a Japanese production. I was also on a project that was Portuguese crew. Some of the main actors from Mexico that are really well known, they were part of this film. So there's some international movies being shot here that
Interesting.
I'm being able to be a part of without having to leave the Philippines. So that's also been a good thing.
Okay, come on, one stop shop.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
All right. Well, before I let you go, is there any advice that you would give to aspiring Black actors who want to try and break into international or Asian markets? Is there
Hmm.
anything that you just any tips or anything that you would say to them to help
Yeah,
them?
I would say for one, stay consistent. A no doesn't mean a no forever. So keep going, keep trying, because someone's going to open the door, someone's going to say yes to you, and then you're going to have a breakthrough. Even if it's a small breakthrough, you're going to have a breakthrough. Um, and also just give your best. Like whenever you have the chance to show who you are, show it all, because um, someone that's, if you go in there shy, if you go in there kind of cowardly, they're gonna see that, and they're gonna notice it, and some may take you on and try to guide you, but for the most part, this is the industry that's a working industry, and they want people that's ready to work. So go ahead and get, your acting skills, build them up, go take some workshops, um, do the background, start in background. It's okay, you learn from that, you learn and you watch from the other actors and see, okay, this is how they do it, this is how they take direction. You can start picking that up just from being on, the behind the scenes or background. So just keep going. If this is what you really want to do, no matter how old you are, shoot your shot.
Yeah, I think what you said, especially there at the end, is extremely important. Like, don't be afraid to take on a background role. Don't be afraid to be, or if you want to be like a stage actor, don't be afraid to be in the ensemble. Don't be
Right.
afraid. Don't think that because you want to be an actor, you have to be in the lead. Even if you're an experienced actor, like, don't be afraid to like take a side part, because like there's always something to learn. There's always
Right.
something that you can gain from these parts, and
Right.
it just makes you a more versatile actor. It just makes you a better performer in general, to learn from other people who, even though you may have wanted this lead role, maybe someone else is playing this lead role slightly differently than you may have played it, and that will give you something that you can use in your acting arsenal in future roles. Like, yeah, I think that's very sage advice.
Yeah. Totally agree with that.
All right, Charlie. Well, before I let you go, please tell the people, where can they find you? Where can they find more of Charlie St. Cyr?
So you can look up Charlie St. Cyr on IMDb, YouTube, Facebook, and on social medias, at Charlie Made It on Instagram, TikTok, X. Yeah, that's me right there.
All the links will be down in the description, so make sure you go over to Charlie's social media, follow, support, and also make sure you go over to Oxin's social media. Links will also be down in the description. Follow and support, and when Sashes and Hearts gets released, make sure you watch. And if you don't want to watch alone, you can join me on my channel because we'll probably be having watch parties because that's what we do.
February 22nd. Yes.
February
Watch.
22nd. Y'all, that is right around the corner. That's right around the corner. That's
It's
like
right
a
around the
week and
corner.
some change. We're we're starting a new series long before I thought I was going to start a new series. My chat's going to be so happy I'm starting another new series. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed our chat with our wonderful guest. Make sure again to go over to social media and bombard him with all the positivity in the world. Charlie, thank you for joining us
No,
today.
thank you. Thank you so much, guys.
It's been such a pleasure, and hopefully we will be seeing more of you on our screens, and hopefully we'll get to sit down again and chat. And who knows, maybe it'll be with you as the star of your own spin-off series.
Maybe.
I'm already writing
Yeah.
it in my head. I haven't even seen the
Let's
original series yet, but I'm already
let's
writing the spin-off.
manifest that already.
All right, Charlie, thank you for joining us, and we will see you guys in the next Insider interview.
All right.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you, guys.